Hello, buddies. Today I will share with you the gripping action movie of 2016 known as Bodyguard. The area of the Chinese town. The boy is eating ice cream in front of a strange guy in a leather coat, sitting in a split. He decides to treat the guy and brings him a croissant, and suddenly the square comes alive. An elderly man is trying to escape from a group of young people in suits. The young man is pushed and the ice cream is knocked out of his hand. And this makes the guy stand up on his feet, wearing strange heavy boots. He is tracking the company, and when the trapped man believes that his final hour has arrived, the individual chooses to take revenge on those who crushed his ice cream. The battle unfolds, in which the guy in boots wins. A man with a scar on his face is watching everything that is happening. When his henchmen scatter across the street, he leaves, and the one they were chasing is trying to stop the guy. He wants to thank him and offers him money. The guy is leaving. In the square, a boy waits for him, also wants to do the splits. But peace and tranquility are disturbed by the guy in black. A smartly dressed man steps out of a luxurious car and approaches the guy, giving him a warm hug, expressing his affection. Shortly after, they sit at a luxuriously set table, and the host compliments his brother for his strong leadership and inquires about the health of their teacher. Wu Lin takes out an urn with ashes, causing Jian's tears to flow. Looking at Wu's training, the guy remembers his long-standing sins. He tried to steal iron boots for which the teacher expelled him. Brother brings Wu to his company, where he trains bodyguards. He is proud. They are all the best in Kung Fu, only him is missing. At that moment, Mr. Li arrives to the boss. He needs a bodyguard for his daughter. Fighters arrange demonstration performances. But here Mr. Li sees Wulin and chooses him. Jian reminds his brother of the main rule of a bodyguard of an iron strike, to dedicate oneself entirely to the employer. Mr. Li's daughter is enjoying herself at the club when her father and Wu Lin safeguard her from hooligans. In the morning, coming out of the shower, the girl screams in surprise. A guy doing splits is found in the room. She is trying to refuse his services, but the guy is calm. He was not hired by her. He knows everything about her. Li Feifei, the daughter of the richest family in the city, is a spoiled, arrogant, and despotic 21-year-old girl. They drive along the streets, and the girl continues to mock the guy. He can't even drive. A little later, the beauty decides to set up the guy and slaps the thug on the street. She hopes that the bodyguard will stand up for her, but he calmly watches as Grubia catches up with Feifei and only defends her after her apologies. At night, Wulin sleeps, sitting in a split, and sees a nightmare, a girl and an abyss. Suddenly he opens his eyes. Something is awry. Masked intruders try to break into Li's house, but they spot threads with bells. Feifei and Wu are sitting at a table in a restaurant. The guy is closely watching the surroundings, and suddenly grabs the waitress. Something is wrong with the wine. It is expired. The girl is in shock. He's just a barbarian. Wulin takes her out onto the street and drops her to the ground. Immediately there are people willing to stand up for the beauty. While the guy is dealing with them, the girl is pushed into a minibus and taken away, and he is chasing after them. He manages to run ahead, shatter the windshield with his iron boots, and swiftly jump inside the vehicle. He retrieves Feifei. The couple is in the process of escaping. The girl is showing interest in houses. How did he realize that the waitress is not real? The guy explains. They fail to hide their gestures, facial expressions, and body language. The girl advises the guy to change his style. There are many costumes in the guest room. At night, Wu remembers his teacher. He said that his body is unique and perfect for studying Kung Fu. He taught him the style of 108 strikes to use them for good. Years of training have not been in vain. In the morning, my brother informed me. He no longer needs to protect the girl. But he can't do it. He devoted himself to the employer. Brother is outraged. Wulin hides from him the secret of iron boots, which the teacher gave to him specifically, because Wu supposedly has a talent for Kung Fu. He suggests checking this statement. And the brothers start fighting, after which Xian refuses Wu. They are no longer brothers. The guy remembers the man who is holding him over the abyss. Feifei takes a bodyguard to the seaside. He observes that the guy is worried and recommends contacting the police, but he disagrees. People who are looking for her are too strong and cunning. Jian remembers his youth. After the teacher expelled him, he became a street thief. Mr. Fu took him in, and at this moment, he cannot go against the boss. Feifei wonders why Wu wears such heavy boots on his feet. They weigh 25 kilograms each. He must wear them for 10 years. Once a girl tries to wake up her boyfriend and discovers that she can't hear his heart. He is laughing. His heart is situated on the right side, and he is capable of holding his breath. They spend time together. The girl teaches him to drive a car, and he teaches her kung fu techniques. Mr. Fu is brought along by Father Feifei. The man reminds Mr. Li that he was responsible for the death of his wife 15 years ago. He knew that he would take revenge, and here is the compromising material that he has been collecting all these years, so now he will see how his daughter dies. Fu orders to do this Jianu. Wulin remembers the teacher's farewell words. Hatred begets hatred. The fate of a person is in his hands. Jianu is informed about the whereabouts of the bodyguard and the girl. He checks his fighters. They are not as good as Wu. Need a reliable plan. The gang is going to the house where Feifei and Wu are hiding, and they see them running away. They're caught up in the forest, and while Wu fights back, they grab and take away the girl. He runs after him and falls into a trap. After a long and brutal fight, they drag him into the forest. Jian remembers how Wu helped him in childhood, and then pushes into the pit. Fighters put her to sleep. It's raining. The ground at Wu's burial site is saturated with water. Mr. Fu contemplates about destiny. The iron boot penetrates the ground. A man covered in mud is emerging. Wu arrives at Li's house and opens the envelope given to him by the girl's father. Inside the disc, on which the last words of Mr. Li are recorded, he acknowledges having stage 4 liver cancer. Before departing, he wants to punish his mother's killer, as it is his final wish. He breaks iron boots and trims his hair. And at this moment, a man dressed in a suit and wearing dark glasses arrives at his brother's company. He is faced with a whole army of bodyguards, and he must defeat them all. The battle begins, in which Vo demonstrates all his skill and mastery. Despite the numerical superiority of the enemy, rage helps him to win. Leaving defeated enemies behind, he moves on. Here he has to take another fight, but it is already impossible to stop him. He sees Feifei and her father, sitting in a cage. Jian is here too. On his hands are iron gloves for 108 blows. Mr. Fu sitting in the chair greets him. He is very brave to come here alone. And the guy reminds, success requires sacrifices, doesn't it? And shows a tattoo on her hand. He is a wolf cub, abandoned by an old wolf. So many years have passed. Every night he was tormented by nightmares. And how did he live? Mr. Li remembers the past and his wife. Fu established her at that time because Li was his accomplice and had too much knowledge. Men sorting things out in clearing. At moment, Fu reports his son and Feifei in danger. Men run into forest. Boys stand in meadow. Boy shields girl from wolf. Looks into beast's eyes. Scares it. Runs away into forest. Fu knows. His son is unique. His energy is deadly. Fu's wife died in childbirth, and everything in his life went wrong. His son is to blame for it all. Everything in the world has a destiny. Throws his son off a high cliff into the abyss, and now he is standing in front of Wu. He is laughing. The son is still alive because of his stubbornness. If it weren't for the cruelty of his father, would he be so strong now? Dad lived incognito for 15 years, but couldn't avoid the destiny of the family. Can the son demonstrate that he is quicker than a bullet? At the signal from his father, the man with the scar shoots at Wu, but Jian catches the bullet with an iron glove. He is grateful to Fu for help, but when he was forced to bury his still-alive brother, the debt was repaid. Jian asks Fu to reveal the secret of the 108 strikes. The fight between the brothers begins, but they are almost equal in strength and skill. But Jiana has only one question. Why was the teacher biased? He is ready to finish off Wu, but shots are heard. Jian is fatally injured. He says goodbye to his brother and asks for forgiveness. Mr. Fu realizes that only the strongest survive, and his son is nearly ready to join them. If they cooperate... Unbeatable. Wulin rushes to his father. A man with a scar shoots him in the heart, but Wu opens his eyes and kills the shooter. Father forgot that he has a heart on the right, and he confirms. Yes, he is definitely his son. His mother died during his birth. Then his teacher and his brother. And now it's father's turn. He was unable to escape from Wu. He is ready to kill a man, but he stops himself. He is determined not to become like him. The guy leaves and the father is raging on his throne. He will not be able to escape fate, and one day he will become like him. Feifei comes to his dad's grave and asks for forgiveness for his behavior. In the hands of the gloomy dust stands on the cliff. He says goodbye to his father mentally. He won't become like him. After all, he saw only darkness, but Wu sees hope for a bright future. The painting is an absolute representative of heroic kung fu action. Everything is super cool and dynamic. Brawl and the unrealness of what is happening allows you to watch completely detached, because such things cannot happen in real life. Only